This passage in the Scarlet Letter shows how identity and who you are as a person is a very important factor in the American culture. It was an early form of the American dream where going outside of social roles led to legal punishment. And although things have evolved with the justice system for the most part, socially today it seems to be about the same because you get the same punishment, it's just from peers and it isn't from the government usually. Who you are as a person is measured and calculated by the members of society every day, all the time. In this scene, you can really see how familiarity is comforting. So when Pearl sees her mother without her letter, she refuses to even acknowledge recognition. And this really relates back to the fact that people want the status quo to remain stable. Hester decided to stay in the same place as her son, but here in America today, you are allowed to change the locations, which is an important part about being an American is that freedom. And you're allowed to create new identities for yourself as you change locations where nobody knows you. A good example would be in school once you go to high school to college, because you can start completely new and you could gather a new identity. Being American is to be labeled. However, nowadays, to be an American, you also have the freedom to change your settings and move and create a new identity for yourself, which you see Hester doing here, where she's running from her civilization and she's in the woods. Little Pearl is not used to her new image yet, though, because she was with her when she was back in society, where she always had the A on. The ambiance of the scene is very hurried, where Hester just wants Pearl to come over and meet her. However, Pearl is very defiant, and the mother's tone is slightly embarrassed because Pearl's making a scene in front of her dad, and Hester is starting to get a little annoyed. Pearl's tone is more of a stubborn one, where she refuses to come along even though her mother's asking her to, and Pearl ends up throwing a temper tantrum.
Do you know your commandments, Elizabeth?
I surely do. There be no mark of blame upon my life.
And you, mister?
Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not convey thy neighbor's goods, nor make unto any graven image. Thou shalt not make unto any graven image.
You've said that twice, sir. Theology is a fortress. No crack in a fortress may be accounted small.
The Puritans in the 1600s actually had one of the first American dreams, where they thought that hard work and religion led you to success. And although the American dream has shifted, some major values have stayed the same in American culture. For example, in the scene you see John not knowing all of the commandments, which puts him against society. And to be an American is to conform to social roles, whatever they are at the time, or you'll be an outcast. And this book actually relates back to the 1950s, because it was written in the 1950s, and it really was, the hidden meaning was about communists and the fear of communism, and if you were different or an outcast, then you would be accused of being a communist. So this really just shows how Americans tend to punish people who don't go with normal social roles. The rhetorical devices that are used in this, the mood and ambiance are very tense and uneasy. You could see between the conversation of Proctor and Hale, although Proctor tries to joke about it after he speaks, Hale does not find it amusing at all, and he thinks it's this very serious offense. It's a very tense situation that they're all in right now.
All my life I wanted to go on a trip like that. I'll be too old before I can ever do it.
Don't be a fool. You can go anywhere you want. You've got plenty of money.
I know, but I can't get started.
Cheer up. All countries look just like the moving pictures.
I can't stand to think that my life is going so fast and I'm not really living it.
In The Sun Also Rises, the American dream is a very important aspect that is stressed throughout the majority of the novel. There are different topics of the American dream that are touched upon, including following dreams, the pursuit of happiness, and materialism. Following dreams is shown through the quote, "All my life I've wanted to go on a trip like that." Cohn is explaining his desire to go to Spain, and he is detailing a dream of his. The pursuit of happiness is connected with following dreams. Oftentimes, in order to pursue happiness, one must follow their dreams. Money and materialistic behavior aid in helping one follow their dreams. In the story, Jake says to Cohn, "Do not be a fool. You can go anywhere you want. You've got plenty of money." Here he is insinuating that happiness and dreams can be pursued easily with money. The final aspect of the American dream that is explored is living life to the fullest. Cohn says, "I can't stand to think that my life is going so fast and I'm not really living it." And Jake replies with, "Nobody ever lives their life all the way up except bullfighters." Here, the two men are showing the importance of living life to the fullest through explaining how bullfighters, whom are risk takers, live their lives to the fullest. There are many rhetorical devices that are used in the scene to enhance it. The tone used by the author is detached and negative. Cohn is unlike most Americans. Most Americans use their strength to strive towards achieving their goals, whereas Cohn views his life as a pessimist. He sees the negativity in the various situations and does not use his resources, such as wealth, to achieve his goals. The mood is one of a loss of meaning in life. Cohn has what he needs in life to give it meaning on his terms, yet he does not do this.
I decided to call to him. Miss Baker had mentioned him at dinner, and that would do for an introduction. But I didn't call to him, for he gave a sudden intimation that he was content to be alone. He stretched out his arms toward the dark water in a curious way, and, far as I was from him, I could have sworn he was trembling. Involuntarily I glanced seaward, and distinguished nothing except a single green light, minute and far away, that might have been the end of a dock. When I looked once more for Gatsby, he had vanished, and I was alone again in the unquiet darkness. In this scene of The Great Gatsby, Fitzgerald creates a very eerie setting of Nick observing Gatsby. In order to do so, Fitzgerald uses diction such as trembling, alone, and darkness to add to the atmosphere of the setting. The mood is also very longing and solemn, as Gatsby reaches out for the green light at the end of the dock. The green light is a huge symbol of Gatsby's hopes and dreams with Daisy. In the end, the green light represents his goals and his very own American dream, which is ultimately getting Daisy back. As his American dream changes, Gatsby becomes very, very greedy and wants Daisy all for himself. A lot of people, including Gatsby, lose sight of what the American dream is really about. Gatsby's goal of preserving the love that they once had ultimately turns into a selfish act by keeping Daisy all to himself.
You buy furniture, you tell yourself, this is the last sofa I will ever need in my life. Buy the sofa, then for a couple of years you're satisfied. No matter what goes wrong, at least you've got your sofa issue handled. Then the right set of dishes. Then the perfect bed. The drapes. The rug.
In this scene of Fight Club, the mood and the tone are both very bland and worldly due to the fact that the author describes everyone as having the exact same lifestyle and home. He continues to describe how everyone buys the exact same furniture, the exact same dishes, a bed, and many other items. In the end, it just exemplifies the materialism present throughout the American people. The author uses the paradox, and the things you used to own, now they own you, in order to exemplify this idea. He is explaining that people buy and spend so much money that it will ultimately consume you and take control of your life. Many people get caught up in the material objects and ultimately allow the materials to define who they are as a person.
I wanna be a billionaire, so bad.
past child. You're coming to me.
I wanna be on the cover of Forbes magazine, smiling next to Oprah and the Queen. Every time I close my eyes, I see my name in shining lights.
I swear, as a child, you will not abide by any slate music.
I surely do. There be no mark of blame upon my life.
And you, mister?
That was good.
I would have a show like Oprah. I would be the host of every day's Christmas.
Oh my God, Rachel, Sydney.
Full of Angelina and Brad Pitt. And it's like a bunch of babies that ain't never had shit.
Oh my God.
Like, here, let me have this.
I'm sorry, no, I was really good.
It's about it, the last wish. It's been a couple months that I've been single, so you can call me Santa Claus, my ho-ho. Get it? I probably visit Katrina here. And dance for you like more than female here. Yeah, can't forget about me, stupid. Everywhere I go, I have my every time I close my eyes. What you see, bro? I see my name is shining.
Read it.
And what else? A different city.